Hi, welcome back to Fish the Mark. This is our second video in the series around beginning fishermen and how to get started with the sport. This one's going to focus on the rod and reels, or rods and reel that you need to get started, and the fishing line that you need to get started in this. And really, we'll go over the three types of reels: bait caster, spinning reel, and spin cast. Explain why you want to use Spincast Reels as a beginning fisherman. Provide some examples of what Spincast Reels are, go through some rods and show some examples of the types of rods that you want to take a look at, and then give you some information on why you want to use monofilament as your fishing line. And so that'll be what we go through today. You know, it's funny, my wife's been fishing with me for over 35 years, and she uses a Spincast reel to this day. My dad's in his upper 80s, and he uses Spincast reels his entire life. He's fished with me my entire life, and he's always used Spincast reels, and even won a tournament, a small club tournament in April or May, throwing a Spincast reel. So they're very functional reels. They do a great job. They have less tangles with them, easy kind of one-hand operation. And so it makes them very popular with beginning fishermen or fishermen that don't fish all the time, and so they don't quite pick up some of the complexities required for spinning reels or bait casters. So why don't we take a look at the reel options, and then we'll come back and take a look at some rod options, and then we'll go into the line.
All right, this is a Spincast reel. And again, this is the reel that's designed for beginning fishermen. The style is it's a great design for that. The line is encased in here. All your gears are covered up in there. This is your handle that cranks and retrieves the line, and you push this button here to release the line. And it's really the idea is for it to be one hand operation. Right, you can push the button with your thumb with that hand, or push the button with your thumb there, and with the same hand if you want reel the line in and everything. So it's designed for one hand operation. It's designed to minimize tangling and have much less tangling of the line, and so it is easy to use. And this is going to be the reel that the style of reel that we're going to recommend that that beginning fishermen get. And then let me grab the next style of reel here, which is the spinning reel. And so this is kind of the next step up in complexity. And the spinning reel, actually, when you're fishing with it, you're actually using it like that. The reel sits below the rod instead of above it, like it did on the Spincast reel. And let me get some of these things out of the way here so you can see better. And the advantages of a spinning reel is you can cast light lures a long ways with the spinning reel, but you do end up, the line, it's a little complex that you have to run the line underneath this bail right here, and then every time you go to cast, it's a two-hand operation. You got to flip the bail over, cast, flip the bail back over, and retrieve. It's just more complex. It's the complexity sometimes enables line tangles, and it's just frustrating for new users, people new to it, to use when they haven't quite mastered the concepts of what they're trying to do in the cast. And so this is a great kind of a step up from the Spincast reel when you're ready to start doing a little more complex casting, when you're trying to throw lighter lures longer distances, if you're trying to throw lures underneath docks or something like that. A Spincast reel does a great job in that instance, but it is kind of more for the intermediate caster, if you will. And then the final reel is a bait caster, and these are the kind that you'll see the pros on TV using. And these are they're a variation of the Spincast when you first look at them, but you can see the line. It's not covered up with the cover. The line goes through here and out. But when you cast it and you push down that button, you see how that line, that spool rolls freely. It's up to the person casting, the fisherman, to use their thumb to stop that line from spinning. And until you get very good at it, you can have a lot of tangles in your line with that. And so these bait casters are really for advanced fishermen and advanced casters. And so that's why, as we talked about, for people that are getting started in the fishing, as beginning fishermen, we really focus on Spincast. And so if you saw the video on getting started that I started with, and I talked about Hooked on Fishing, all the rods and reels that Hooked on Fishing provides their users are all Spincast rods and reels. And that's what we're going to focus on, is the right type of rod and reel for any beginning users that are watching this video.
So after seeing what the three reel types are, as I said, I think Spincast reels are the most functional for beginning fishermen. If you just go out to a local bait shop, so I picked Presley's here, which is probably the largest private bait shop here in the Peoria area. They've got a whole slew of Spincast reels. You go out to the website, you can actually sort by Spincast reels, see the three types, and sort by Spincast reels. And so there's a whole slew of Spincast reels available there. Zebco 33 is kind of what started the Spincast craze many decades ago. And they were probably, if not the first, one of the first to have a Spincast. The 33 is kind of a classic that everybody in fishing probably at some point in time has owned a Zebco 33. But Daiwa makes a nice reel, and there's a couple different Daiwas here to take a look at. I think the one that I showed you earlier was a Shakespeare, which they make a nice Spincast reel as well, and that's the one my wife uses. When it comes to rods, what I really want to focus on is, first of all, you don't have to break the bank to get a rod. You can see here's Berkeley Lightning rods, which are a good rod. They're actually the same rod that I started fishing tournaments with 30 years ago or 25 years ago were Berkeley Lightning rods. But this pistol grip that you see here, that kind of handle is called a pistol grip. For most Spincast reels, I think the pistol grip will fit in somebody's hand better. And so I like the pistol grip rods for Spincast reels for the most part. Here's another popular rod called a Shakespeare Ugly Stick. They've got the pistol grips that you see right here. That's a pistol grip. They also have other traditional trigger grips and things that are available in the Shakespeare. But again, typically for Spincast reels, I tend to think a pistol grip rod. And you want something that's in depending on how tall you are, the 5.5 to 6 foot range is probably what you're really looking for. And you're looking for something that's a medium action, because you're going to be fishing for probably anything that bites. And in large respects, that'll end up being bluegill or crappie or some other panfish that you'll be fishing for. And that medium action rod will provide a good fight for you, and it'll be you'll be able to sense the hit from the fish on it really well. So you want a 5.5 to 6 foot medium action rod. And if you're going to buy the rod and reel separate, I would look for a pistol grip rod. But at any of these bait shops, when you go into them, you should be able to pick out the rod and reel and put them together in the shop and put it in your hand and see how it feels. And if the reel is too high up off the rod and your thumb doesn't reach it very well, then you want to get a rod where it's more of a pistol grip, where the reel sits down inside the grip a little better and makes it easier to handle. Or do you want to get a reel that's got a shorter height on it so it'll fit in your hand? So you want to be able to go out and just kind of hold it with one hand and kind of do this while you're holding the reel in one hand and see how that feels, and make sure that the reel rod and reel together are comfortable. But I think a 5.5 to 6 foot rod, medium action, probably a pistol grip, and put a Spincast on it will probably meet 99% of beginning fishermen's needs. Now, I did go out and take a look also at some ready-made combos. And so here's some combos for really colorful. If you want to help get the kids involved and getting them some bright colors would help. Here's a nice Zebco Spincast combo, all rigged and ready to go. You can see on Presley's website here, they have a whole lot of combo rod and reels, including a lot of Spincast rod and reels that you can try out. Here's a nice Zebco 33. I already talked about how Zebco 33 is kind of what got the Spincast market going. Here's this is kind of a heavier duty one. It's a medium heavy instead of a medium. It's more of a catfishing kind of pull, I would say, that they have. And then here's again that medium 5'6" Zebco reel, all rigged up, ready to go. Here's a 404. 404 is just a little heavier duty reel than what that 202 is. Again, 6 foot long, medium action. I think that will meet your needs. Highly recommend when you go into a dealer, go into a bait shop, tell them, that you're just getting started and you'd like a rod that will be easy to use, rod and reel that'll be easy to use, that'll help you be able to catch panfish, and they're going to direct you to something like what I'm showing here, a Spincast reel on a 5.5 to 6 foot rod, medium action, with probably a trigger grip to get it to fit your hand better. And so that's the rod and reel views that I have on what you should be getting when you go get a rod and reel. I'll put some of these links in the description so you can go pull these up and get these right at Presley's website. And then the next section of the video, we're going to go over the fishing line that you need. Now, the advantage for Spincast reels is most of those come pre-spooled with fishing line on them. And so you won't need to buy your line when you first buy the reel. But after a year or two, that fishing line will go bad, or you'll end up getting it hung up in a tree and break off a bunch of line. You're going to need new line on the reel. And so I'll go through the type of line that you should be getting next in this video.
All right, when you buy a Spincast reel, they almost always come with fishing line pre-spooled on them, which is good. It's a great way to get started. You don't have to go buy a line. But if you do decide that you want to buy a line, I recommend to kind of get started in this space to buy what's called monofilament fishing line. So there's really primarily 3 types of fishing line. There's what's called braid, fluorocarbon, and mono. Mono is the line that's been around for decades. It's a line that the vast majority of fishermen in the world actually use. And I recommend it. It's a great all-purpose line. You can use it for all different types of fishing. It's robust and strong. I'm a fan of the Berkley Trilene XT that you see here. When you go buy the line, you want to buy it by the test pound, and so that's a combination of how strong the line is and a little bit of how thick the diameter on the line is, the way they kind of test it all. For a beginning fisherman in Illinois that's going to be probably fishing for kind of anything that bites with either live bait or small jigs and that type of thing, you're probably looking at this 12-pound test is probably a little bit too heavy. You probably really want 8 or 10-pound test on your rod for that type of fishing. And so as you go out and look at reels, or get a reel, or if you find, if someone hands you down a reel and you need a fishing line for it, you probably want to put 8 or 10-pound monofilament on. And this Berkley Trilene XT is really some of the best monofilament that's out there, and it's not very expensive. You can get it pretty cheaply, and it'll last you quite a while.
So after taking a look at the types of reels, rods, and line that's available, I think what everybody should really come out of here with is, as a beginning fisherman, you're looking for a Spincast reel, a 5.5 to 6 foot rod, probably with what's called a pistol grip. And then monofilament line. If the reel probably will come with monofilament, so you probably don't need to buy it right off the bat. But if it doesn't, or if you decide you want to put new line on or get new line at some point for it, probably looking for 8 to 10 pound test monofilament line. And that'll be the rod, reel, and line combination that you need to get started. In the next video, I will show some of the lures and hooks and weights that you need to get started. And then I will also have a video on knots to tie, because as you get those hooks and lures to get started in fishing, you're going to want to tie them properly on your rod or on your line so that you don't break those off. So really appreciate everybody checking in and taking a look at the series on beginning fishermen and how to get started. Feel free to let me know if there's other items in the beginning fishing series that you'd like to see, or just any videos at all that you'd like to see. Please comment, provide input. If you have questions and you'd like to email with me, you can get to my email address through the YouTube channel, and be happy to help provide any guidance to you as well as you begin your journey for fishing. So thank you. Please hit the subscribe and the like button and provide comments. Thank you very much.